Hello, Tri-Cities, and welcome to the 2021 Vote for Business Candidate Forum, the only region-wide business-focused candidate forum in the Tri-Cities. It's brought to you by the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce. In this forum, you will be hearing from candidates running for mayor of West Richland. I'm Julia Thatcher. I'm a news anchor with Keeper Action News. I'm pleased to be with you, and a reminder that voting begins as soon as those ballots start to appear in your mailbox. That should be about October 13th, and that'll continue through Election Day, and that's Tuesday, November 2nd. Thank you for joining us to learn about candidates' thoughts and positions on issues that impact our local economy and our business community. And now a message from President and CEO of the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce, Lori Matson.
Thank you. I'd like to take a brief moment to thank the Chamber's Board of Directors and our Local Government Affairs Committee for their leadership in supporting the advocacy efforts of the Regional Chamber, and especially our sponsors, AYB Drafting, Cascade Natural Gas, and Hayden Homes. The Chamber supports positions that preserve and promote a positive business climate. As the foremost advocate and voice for business, the Chamber leads the region by advancing policies and positions that strengthen business and improve the local economy and quality of life. The 2021 Vote for Business Candidate Forum is designed to highlight how candidate positions integrate with local business priorities. And finally, a very special thank you to our local news partners for collaborating on this project. Your time, talent, and expertise are valued and truly appreciated. Now a word from one of our sponsors.
Hello, I'm Lindsay Demko with Cascade Natural Gas. We are a proud sponsor of the Vote for Business campaign. Local elections are important to our business economy, just like our vital underground utility lines. So please, remember to vote and always contact 811 before you dig. Thanks for watching.
Thank you both, and it's a pleasure for Keeper to support the effort to inform voters about people who are running for public office. And now a look at the format. Each candidate will have 1 minute for opening and closing statements. The candidates will be asked the same questions. Response time for each question is limited to 2 minutes. Time limit reminders will appear on screen at 10 seconds remaining, and if necessary, when time is up. And since this is a forum rather than a debate, candidates will not be provided rebuttal time. And we're ready to get started, so we'll begin with introducing in alphabetical order the two candidates in the race for West Richland Mayor, incumbent Brent Gerry and challenger Kate Moran. Welcome, and thank you both so much for taking time to be with us.
Thank you very much, Julia.
Thank you.
And as mentioned, we'll start with those opening statements in alphabetical order. So Mr. Gerry, will begin with your opening statements. You have 1 minute.
Well, I'd like to thank the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce and the Action News for hosting us this afternoon. Just give you a little history of myself. I've been in business for over 31 years, and I find that that has certainly been beneficial in my last 8 years as mayor and CEO for the city of West Richland. And prior to the 8 years, I was 4 years on West Richland City Council. That's when we had the opportunity to develop strategic focus areas with goals and objectives that would lead our city in growth as time goes on. And after 4 years on council, when Mayor Noski decided not to run for a re-election, I just couldn't stop myself from continuing on the role to make sure that our goals and objectives and focus areas are met to grow our economic opportunities here in the city of West Richland. So it's been business sense to city business, and I'm looking forward to 4 more years. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Ms. Moran, you now have 1 minute for your opening statement.
Thank you very much. My name is Kate Moran, and I am currently on the West Richland City Council. And the big things about me is that I'm a daughter of a registered nurse and a Navy Vietnam veteran. And because of those things and my upbringing, I truly believe in working hard, serving my community, and keeping my word. And serving is why I joined the U.S. Navy and also why I joined council. And with working hard, you can see every day when you go on to council, you can see the questions that I ask. And with keeping my word, I go back to the promises that I discussed when I was running for office in 2019. And I've made sure to push on those so that we can accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish. And in the end now, I really think we need to focus on looking at our neighborhoods and making sure that we can make them strong neighborhoods. We need to look at economic development to make sure that our city can keep up with its growing needs. And we need to look at fiscal responsibility to make sure that we are using the money wisely from the taxpayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. And moving into the question and answer portion of the forum, a coin toss just prior to taping has determined that Ms. Moran will answer that first question. Subsequent questions will be alternated. So Ms. Moran, this first question goes to you. If elected as mayor, what will you do in regards to tax and regulation that will promote our region as a smart place to do business?
Well, I think that we definitely need to look at what we currently have as regulations and make sure that they make sense. Because I'm sure that there are a lot of things out there that we currently have on the law books and on our code that might not make sense at this point, especially since we are still in the pandemic and it's looking like it's going to go for the long haul. For instance, if we're looking at things like regulations about the amount of the amount of spaces that we have for cars in parking lots, it might not make as much sense now to have that, especially if we're able to give places like restaurants the opportunity to continue to use maybe one or two of those spaces for outdoor seating so that it is a bit more safe when it comes to things like social distancing and outdoor rather than indoor. So I think that we definitely need to look at our regulations. We need to look at our fees and our taxes and make sure that they make sense right now.
All right, Mr. Gerry, it is now your turn.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to be bringing to council this next session, this next meeting, a resolution opposing the implementation of a local income tax on residences, businesses, as it's been done in other parts of the state. So unnecessary taxes do cause issues with business as well as citizenry. I'm opposed to any implementation, of any new taxes. However, I am in support of the public safety sales tax. I believe that it's a tax that is well used. It supports our police, mental health programs, boys and girls clubs, also supports the Veterans Court, which is certainly a necessity. One thing that we have here is a property tax. People always are saying, well, I pay my property taxes and all this money I'm spending should have a little bit better quality of life here. Realistically, out of every dollar that a taxpayer pays in property taxes, the city of West Richland only sees 13 cents of that. So when you think you're paying all property taxes to West Richland, no, we just get 13 cents. So taxes are a necessity, but not anything that should be imposed unnecessarily on our citizenry and businesses.
Thank you so much. And the second question will begin with you, Mr. Gerry. The current labor shortage impacts local business. As mayor, what can you do to foster, attract, and retain talent to build the next generation workforce?
Well, that's something that's been discussed for quite some time. I'm the vice chair of Energy Communities Alliance, and obviously with our workforce out at the Hanford site, we're going to see a substantial decrease in talent. We're going to lose the historical knowledge of what we have going on out there, and that's certainly a challenge. So some of the things that have been beneficial is with our local campus, branch campus at CBC, providing housing for students so people can come and educate and live here. WSU branch campus has given opportunities for education. I also believe that if we have an opportunity to have internships to get people from a school into a job and see what something like that would entail for them, it's certainly beneficial. But yeah, workforce is a challenge that we're all facing nationwide, not only here regionally. And as things progress, we're going to find it to be more of a challenge. So we have to dangle that carrot out there and make it, have an incentive for individuals to become part of the trades. Everything from janitorians to engineers to scientists. It's a challenge, but we'll get through it as we have in the past.
Thank you. And Ms. Moran, you now have 2 minutes.
Well, when it comes to calling it the labor shortage, I'm not sure that I would consider it a labor shortage so much as a shortage of, a shortage of the ability for some businesses to be able to pay the current cost of living. But when it comes to bringing a better or a larger workforce to our area, we do need to make sure that we're working with the trades, that we're working with businesses to make sure that we are attracting those that are going to be working there. For instance, if we have more things to do in the evening for people when they're getting off of work, if we have more places that we can shop, I think one of the big things is finding ways to bring people here by attracting them with things to do when they're not working, so that they know that when they're done with the end of the day, they can come, they can relax at a local restaurant, they can relax at a local pub, they can just go enjoy their weekend and not have to travel all the way out of town to do so, or to travel to 1 or 2 towns over. We have a lot to give to people so that they can come to West Richland and have a nice time. But I feel that there's always more that we can do. I think the racetrack is definitely one good thing that we've added, and we need to do a whole lot more to make sure that we can continue to be the best and the safest city in Washington State.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Moran, this is the third question, so we will begin this third question with you. As mayor, what specific investments by the city will you champion to encourage diversity of business and economic growth in West Richland?
Thank you. I think one of the big things that we need to do is first find out what the best places are and what the best types of things are to actually invest in. And I think that's where we really need to work with our regional partners, especially places, organizations like the Tri-City Chamber of Commerce, TRIDEC, and with the Benton Franklin Council of Governments. I think that if we look at having this regional view of what can we do that fits a niche that West Richland can provide that other places cannot provide, and how can we make sure that our community as a whole, and not just West Richland, but a community as a whole, is going to be the best that it can be to encourage overall economic growth. If we have more economic growth in the cities near to us, we are also going to be able to have that economic growth seen here in West Richland. So if we focus on regional collaboration, I think that we're going to find that we can work together to make our area, not just West Richland, but the whole area, more diverse of business and economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Gerry, you now have 2 minutes as well.
Well, thank you, and I'll thank Kate for answering that question, because I will give her kudos for everything that she said. So you can add that to my 2 minutes, and then I'll let you know what I've done to make sure that we actually achieve those particular things. It takes 3 things: rooftops, daytime car count, and daytime jobs. When you provide those to your community, you're going to attract the economic growth. One of the things that I did is with the Belmont Business District is locate the new City Hall here in Belmont Business District, became the anchor tenant, which has brought all the infrastructure. Not only that infrastructure, it has brought middle school, administrative building for Richland School Districts, Sun Mart, Firehouse Subs, HAPO, and then we have also sold the other existing city properties that we had down in Van Giesen to assist in the revitalization of the Van Giesen corridor. And now we have an engineering firm, a dentist's office, and the police facility, which will be vacated here in the first of the year, is also sold for the economic development opportunities and revitalization of Van Giesen corridor. So it's, again, too, it's the city business and us being in the real estate business, it gives us the opportunity to control who we have come, and they're not buying property on speculation. They're buying property to actually make the diversity and bring economic opportunities with jobs and growth in our community. So that's Kate. Thanks for the first half of the answer. There's the second half on my side.
All right. And now we are moving into that last question. And Mr. Gerry, we'll begin with you on this one. The My Tri 2030 Regional Vision Project is a community-driven effort to drive collaborative action. How do you see the cities collaborating, coming together to solve shared problems and advance regional initiatives?
Well, that's a great question, and I was fortunate to be involved with the My Tri 2020 from the idea that the executive director had, Lori, and so it is something that I feel is beneficial region-wide. as there are many projects that are region-wide through Visit Tri-Cities, Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce, and many others. Some of the challenges that our city has is the ability to participate 110%. With the small bedroom community that we have and some of the things that we earlier talked about as far as economic growth opportunities, which bolster our general fund. We have those challenges right now in the general fund aspect to be able to go 110% in different programs that are offered region-wide. I'm on full 110% support of My Tri 2020. And as our economic growth increases and our general fund begins to thrive, hopefully the city of West Richland can become more financially involved in the My Tri 2020. But the support is 110% from myself, and I'm sure the city council has the same sentiment.
Ms. Moran, you now have 2 minutes as well.
Thank you very much. I'll have to thank Mr. Gerry, Mayor Gerry, for answering pretty much similarly to how I would answer. And I would add on to that I know that it's very difficult, especially in this area. It seems in the past that for the areas, for the different cities to agree, at least by voting on specific things. So I think it's something that we really need to look at, making sure that we talk to our citizenry so that we make sure that what we are hoping to do in this regional collaboration is also what they would like to do, to make sure that when it comes down to things like, for instance, the regional PFD, where they were having issues with different cities agreeing to have something done in another city. I think that if we work together, we talk to our citizenry, we make sure that we have that opportunity for that discussion between not just the regional organizations, which do represent a lot of people, but also make sure that we involve the rest of the community, the people, so that they can come in, they can discuss things. There's so many different ways now that have come out since COVID started, where we can have input from people without having us all having to be in the same room. And if we're able to work on that and build on that so that we can get more and more input and find a way to use that to our advantage so that we can create something, not even just for 2030, but even looking past that, 2040, 2050, I think that that's the best way to go. Because in the end, we want to make sure that everybody's voice is being heard. We want to make sure that we are all working together to make our area the best place that it can be. And in the end, with that, we will be able to continue to be the best. Thank you.
Ms. Moran, thank you so much. And thank you both. This now closes the question and answer period. We'll end the forum with closing statements. And since Mr. Gerry, you opened, we'll begin with closing statements with Ms. Moran. And you now have 1 minute.
Thank you very much. One of the reasons that I decided to run is because being on council, I see the things that are going in front of the council on a daily basis. And I think that there are some slight changes that we should work on to make sure that we're getting the best possible input from both the community and also from the council members so that our city is moving forward in the direction that we all want to go. I think that we need to make sure that we're looking at having more workshops where the council members are able to openly discuss things that are in a more informal format so that the staff and the mayor are aware of the thoughts of the council. Because in the end, the mayor is absolutely the top executive branch for the city. They're the CEO, but they're also the facilitator for our meetings. And they need to make sure that what the council is looking to do, that's something that the staff is working on. So when we have different things go in front of the community, the city council, where it's maybe not something that is ever going to come in front of us before, we need to make sure we have the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Gerry, you also have 1 minute.
Thank you. As a successful small business owner for over 31 years, I've brought business sense solutions to city government. And I've been committed to enhancing our public safety to keep West Richland consistently ranked one of the safest cities in Washington and the best place to raise a family. I've worked hard to provide a legacy of financial security and stability through balanced budgets and strong financial practices. In addition, I have partnered with the school district to relieve overcrowding by adding new middle school and grade school along with the construction of the new district's teaching and learning center, and the future high school, which will be going to a bond vote here soon. My policies focus on economic development and opportunities within our local community, and responsive to transparent government, and welcome the feedback from all of our citizens to shape our city. Thank you very much for the opportunity in the past years to be your mayor, and I fully look for your support in 4 more years to come. Thank you.
Ms. Moran and Mr. Gerry, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us with the Tri-City Regional Chamber's 2021 Candidate Forum, featuring, again, candidates running for West Richland Mayor. And as we begin the countdown to Election Day again on November 2nd, please remind your friends in West Richland to watch, share, and get out and vote. You can find this video and other candidate forum videos on the Tri-City Regional Chamber website. That's at www.tricityregionalchamber.com. And again, thank you to the Chamber, to Keeper Action News, the candidates and the sponsors, Cascade Natural Gas, AYB Drafting, and Hayden Homes. And of course, a special thanks to you for watching. I'm Julia Thatcher with Keeper Action News, reminding you to get out and vote.